Hey everyone! Today we'll do Chirashi sushi or scattered sushi. As the name indicates, this is a kind of sushi that presents itself on a disorganized form, meaning you have a plate that has a mix of rice with sugar and vinegar as the base, and all the other toppings, including the raw fish, come over it in a scattered form. So we'll start by making a thin egg kind of crêpe, which is called kinshi tamago. After this, we'll cook the rice and mix it with our seasonings, and also prepare our raw fish and some vegetables. So for the eggs, you will need 1 tablespoon of cornstarch, some cooking oil, 3 big fresh eggs, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 tablespoon of sake, and a pinch of salt. I would say 1/4 of a teaspoon, more or less. You will also need 2 bowls, one to beat the eggs and another one with a sieve so you can put the mixture through. You also need a deep plate with 2 chopsticks and kitchen paper. A bit more kitchen paper and other chopsticks. And you can start by unfolding the kitchen paper and put it in between the chopsticks and the plate, like this. It will be useful for later. It will serve for the egg crêpe to rest. You can then start by opening the eggs on the bowl. And add all the ingredients except the oil. The cornstarch will serve to completely bind our mix, as it's important. And you beat the mixture. Don't worry if some lumps will form with the cornstarch, you'll pass it through the sieve, is also why we do it. So when we're ready, take a spatula and pass the mixture through. You can then turn on medium heat. Pour some of the oil and with the kitchen paper spread it So then with the help of a spatula, we're gonna guide it around the thin crêpe. Trying not to break it, which might be difficult. so that it rests on the paper and with the chopsticks dries quickly from the heat, like this. And you repeat the procedure with the rest of the egg. So we can proceed by preparing some toppings and seasoning of our rice. I have some of the seasoned goodies such as some flat beans and some fava beans. You will also need, for example, 2 sorts of sesame. If you just have one, that's okay. I would say a tablespoon of each. Salt to season, and some shiso leaves at your taste. I'm gonna use around 3 or 4, but you can use as much or few as you like. So we'll start by heating the pan to toast the sesame. Can mix both. And leave it toasting while you prepare the rest. So we will then slice the foot of the shiso off, roll it, and slice it thinly. Save aside. And start taking out the fava beans from the pods. Into a bowl. And for the flat beans, just take the tops off. Those have the core taken already. If not, you just have to take it off. And cut them in around 2 centimeters diagonally, like this. For the sesame, we are done. It's well grilled. Put some water boiling. With the salt. And have ready a bowl with cold water and ice. And when the water boils, throw both beans and fava inside and leave them simmer for 30 seconds. Drain them and place them inside the cold water. You can now, in another bowl, put the inside from the fava beans. That should be easy to peel at this point, like this. And drain the beans. We passed to one of the most important steps, the rice. You'll find some similarities with the recipe for the rice of the kimbap that I've done before, but the seasoning is slightly different. For this you will need 260 ml of water, 200 grams of short grain Japanese rice, 5 grams of salt, 30 ml of rice vinegar, and 20 grams of sugar. Here you have for later the sesame we toasted and the shiso we cut. So you start by, in a bowl with a filter, wash the rice a couple of times, 3 minimum. You can then add the rice to the water in the pot. And turn the heat high for the water to start boiling, and you immediately lower the heat when it boils to very low and cover for 15 minutes. So in the meantime, you can start by making the sugary vinegar. So you just place the sugar, the salt, and the vinegar in a bowl. And you mix very well. And you set aside with the remaining ingredients. So after 15 minutes our rice is now cooked. You turn off the heat and delicately, with a plastic or a wooden spoon, never a metal one, you'll take the rice to a deep plate and you'll pour the mixture that you've done before with the vinegar on the rice. And with the help of a fan, you'll start mixing the rice and having some air on it at the same time in slashing movements, like if you were cutting the rice, like this, without smashing it and being careful about it. And you start seeing the rice getting shiny. And at the same time cooling. That's the whole point. You will then pour your sesame and shiso on the rice. And you carefully mix it. And you cover it with a damp cloth so it doesn't get dry. We can now compose our chirashi. You have here the kimchi tamago that we've done before, both flat bean and fava beans, some trout or salmon raw, and for the raw fish I'm gonna use a nice piece of bluefin tuna and 2 fillets of red mullet. So we're gonna start by slicing the crêpes that we've done. We can start by cutting them in half. They're juxtaposed to each other, as you see. So you can then roll them tightly and cut thinly. So as you see, they look kind of like spaghetti. So you can set them aside. You can then slice the rouget. In small pieces. Like you did with the peas. So you divide it so that it has a rectangular size. And you will cut against the fibers like this. You'll see that it doesn't offer any resistance to you, and it should have this very clean cut. And you do the same with the other piece. You can then start plating. The rice should be sticky. Put a good portion. And then the kinshi tamago. Start arranging the fish. The tuna. The flat beans. The fava beans. And the trout roe with a little spoon. And here you have your Chirashi sushi. Don't forget to forward questions in the comment below if you have them. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, also you can do it below. And I'll see you next time for another recipe. Bye!